No, not now. No. Did I get the thumbs up?
I want to be able to see you guys.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just a reminder that everyone turn off or silence their cell phones, electronic devices. This is a hearing of the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Thorold for Thursday, June 18th, 2026. Everyone present will be given an opportunity to speak for or against the applications being heard. Members of the public are welcome to speak to the planning matters before the committee today, specifically as they relate to the minor variance or the land severance applications under consideration. Please ensure your comments focus on the relevant planning matters to which the committee is deciding on. When given a chance to speak, you will have 5 minutes, so please be sure to be as clear and consistent as possible. For your information, Committee of Adjustment is a public process. Personal information such as the applicant's name and property address, which is reported at a Committee of Adjustment meeting, is public information. Minutes of this Committee of Adjustment meeting will be received by Thorold City Council. Please address your comments and questions through the chair. A copy of the decision will be sent to the applicant or agent and to any person who files a written request. Agencies commenting on applications may request that certain conditions be imposed. Voicing objections to these conditions will not adversely affect the committee's decision. The Committee of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial body excuse me, operating under the Planning Act, Municipal Act, and the Statutory Powers Procedure Act, as well as various provincial regulations. Sections 45 and 50 of the Planning Act outline the circumstances surrounding the approval of minor variances and controlling the variance of land in Ontario and prevention of subdivision of land except with governmental approval. The applicant, the minister, or any specified person or public body who has an interest in the matter may, within 20 days of the making of the minor variance decision and 20 days of the date of the mailing of consent decision, appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Please note, neighbors and other interested parties not defined by the Planning Act are no longer eligible as to file appeals as per Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Act 2022. Would the Deputy Clerk please read the land acknowledgement?
The City of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hadawan-Darank, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The City of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live.
Thank you. Does any member of this panel have a pecuniary interest in any of the applications to be considered at this hearing? No? Is Mr. Daniels online?
He wasn't. I've just got a Mike Wilson as an attendee online. No,
No,
Mr.
but
Daniels.
Mr. Daniels, the other member.
No, he's
No.
not online.
Thank you. Nor do I. May I have a motion from the committee that the agenda be adopted as presented?
I will
Mr.
so move.
DiPaolo?
Yes.
Seconded. Mr. Jackson. All in favor? Thank you. Motion that the minutes from May 21st, 2026 be adopted. Mr. Jackson? Seconded. Mr. DiPaolo? Errors or omissions? Seeing none? All in favor? Thank you. Was notice given as required by the Planning Act, Mr. Secretary Treasurer?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any requests for withdrawal or adjournment?
No.
Thank you. First application is D10-03-2026. We'll have to vote on each one separately, but the planner will be doing them together. Thank you.
Yeah.
To you, Sean.
Thank you. Yep, mic's on. Perfect. All right. Hello, members of the committee and members of the public. Today I'm just here to speak on the application we received at the property address 10 Brock Street. This is a lot of about 1,100 square meters that's at the northwest intersection of Brock Street and Carlton Street North, just about a block north of Thorold Secondary School. The applicant here has given us an application to sever the lot to sever the existing lot into two. On the retained half, which is the eastern half of the lot, they're going to keep the existing duplex. And on the severed half, the western half of the lot, they're proposing to build 3 attached townhouse dwelling units. This requires minor variances for lot area and lot frontage, and so that's what's in front of you today. I'll just start by giving a bit of a more in-depth background of this application, and then we'll move into the planning analysis. So as I said, this site is near about a 5-minute walk north of TSS and about a 15-minute walk from downtown. Immediately surrounding this site, the land uses are entirely residential in nature. Many of them are single detached dwellings. There are semi-detached dwelling units directly across the street from this proposed site on Brock Street. Ormond Street North is significantly more built up, and so there's apartment complexes and townhouse dwelling units only 50 to 75 meters from this site. And at the terminus of Brock Street at Welland Street North, there's another apartment complex as well. And there's semi-detached units kind of scattered throughout the neighborhood, including on Carlton Street North. In terms of landscaping and the existing conditions on the site, if you're familiar with the area, this is kind of a white siding square building that currently exists on the site, the duplex. There's some minor landscaping features around it, and all of that is proposed to remain. There's a line of mature trees along the northern property line. Those are also proposed to remain on the site, so nothing will be happening with those. There's an existing detached garage on the western half of the site that will be removed in order to make way for these dwelling units, should it be approved. The existing driveway access to the current dwelling, which comes off of Carlton Street North, will remain as well. So nothing will change in terms of that. I'll move into the consent planning analysis. Oh, actually, the one more thing I wanted to touch on here is that this is kind of a wonky application, if I can say that, in that usually when applicants apply to build townhouse dwelling units in the city, they would each be located on their own separate lot. But that's not the case here. So the applicant is proposing to build these 3 townhouse units all on the same lot, and then they would rent them out or however they wish to go about that process. So that just means there's a few additional considerations that have to be had. So first of all, the city provides 1 servicing connection per lot, and so these 3 units would be serviced with 1 connection to the city's mains. Engineering has not indicated that they have any issue with that. The applicant has indicated that they're fine with that, but that will be the arrangement for the moment. Secondly, the city's zoning bylaw does not really contemplate the possibility that there would be more than 1 townhouse dwelling unit on a lot. So, for example, the minimum lot area requirements for street townhouses in the R1C zone, which is what this is, that requirement is 180 square meters per interior unit and 225 meters per end unit. So you can kind of see how that could cause a bit of confusion. And same with minimum lot frontage, which is 6 meters per interior and 7.5 per end unit. So the way the city has approached this and the way the applicant has approached this is to combine what the provisions would be for 2 end units and 1 interior, which is what this proposal results in. So when we do that, when we add the minimum lot areas for 2 end units and 1 interior, we get 630 square meters as a requirement. The applicant is proposing 565, which necessitates the first variance. Similarly, for lot frontage, when we do the addition, we get 21 meters of frontage as a requirement. The applicant is proposing 20.65, and so that necessitates the second variance. Every other provision of the zoning bylaw is being maintained. When it comes to the consent planning analysis, obviously every policy document that the city's obligated to follow speaks under what circumstances a consent should or should not be approved. Kind of coming from the top, though, we have the Planning Act, which usually doesn't just speaks on legislative matters, but in this case it gives a list of items that the approval authority must consider, and that's found in Section 51, Sub 24 of the Act. So the first item there is matters of provincial interest, which are outlined in a whole other separate section of the Planning Act. These are mostly of a general nature, so things like, the protection of ecosystems and agriculture, minimizing waste, the orderly development of healthy and safe communities, things of that nature. Staff find that the proposal satisfies all matters of provincial interest. The other kind of main subset of items in this list in the Planning Act regards whether or not the subject lands are well suited for the residential development that they're being proposed for. Planning staff find that they are because the road system in the area is adequate to support the development. The existing size, the shapes and dimensions of the proposed lots are in line with the existing sizes of lots in the area. There's no hazard lands or anything on this site, and so staff find that those requirements are satisfied as well. I'm going to kind of skip through the provincial planning statement, the regional official plan, and the city official plan as it relates to consent planning, just in the interest of brevity, and much of this is covered in repeats in the minor variance analysis as well. And so that's kind of what I'm going to skip towards here. But if you have any questions regarding what's been written or not written in the planning report for those sections, I'm happy to answer those. As the committee knows, there's 4 tests for the approval of a minor variance in this situation under the Planning Act. So that is whether the variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan, whether or not it does the same thing for the zoning bylaw, whether or not it's appropriate for the development or use of the land, and whether or not it's minor in nature. So to begin, staff find that the variance does maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan. As per the official plan itself, the purpose of the urban living area designation, where this is in, is to promote the efficient use of existing and planned community infrastructure. Because this is an infill or intensification development, it's a form of development that more efficiently uses services. There's no extension of roads or water or sewer systems that are required. The Niagara official plan, the regional official plan, also speaks very heavily in favor of intensification. So for instance, that plan requires the city of Thorold to plan to build approximately 1,600 new infill units by 2051. This proposal helps us achieve that objective. Regarding whether staff finds the variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw as well. So for the purpose of the minimum lot area designation is to ensure that there's adequate space available on the lot to accommodate the use and to accommodate amenities, drainage, and other considerations. Because the proposal is maintaining every other provision of the zoning bylaw, including setbacks, staff find that there will be no impact on the required amenity space. So, for instance, the required setback here is rear yard setback is 7.5 meters, and the applicant is actually exceeding that. Staff finds that the proposed unit size of 1,800 square feet per unit is sufficient to accommodate people at all stages of life. Regarding the minimum lot frontage, the purpose of that provision is to ensure that development follows a similar built form and spacing pattern to what already exists in the area, and to ensure that new lots aren't unusable because they're too small or they don't have enough frontage. Lots in the vicinity of this proposal have frontages ranging from between 10 meters and 20 meters. The proposed lot frontage for the freehold townhouse lot in its entirety, again, is 20.65. So as a holistic unit, it maintains that. And even as split up into individual townhouses, the relief being requested here is very slight, just 0.6 meters as per the applicant's application. Therefore, staff find this will have no functionality on the proposed development. I'll additionally skip over whether or not it's appropriate for the development of the land. This was kind of already covered in the Planning Act section, but again, I'm happy to take any questions regarding what I have or haven't written in the planning report, which brings us to the question of whether or not it's minor in nature. As the committee members know, this test relates mostly to the degree of impact the development would have on the surrounding area and not on the absolute values that are being requested. Staff find that the requested lower lot frontage would not have any impact on the area or on the surroundings because it's so slight in nature. There won't be a need to make driveways smaller or anything like that. Regarding the minimum lot area provision, staff also find this would not have any negative impact. Again, for minimum lot area, you're looking at things like, is there sufficient room for drainage and amenity space? Any drainage concerns which might possibly arise will be and can be mitigated through submission of a grading plan at the building permit stage. So in conclusion, staff are of the opinion that the requested variance is minor in nature. Staff are recommending approval of the consent application with the conditions listed in the planning report, and staff are recommending approval of the minor variance application with the condition listed in the planning report. Now, lastly, we did receive an item of correspondence from a member of the public just yesterday, and they requested that we read it out for the members of the committee, so I'm going to do so now. Dear members of the Committee of Adjustments, I am formally writing to oppose or to register my opposition to the proposed severance and minor variance with proposed townhouse development for the property located at 10 Brock Street. As a resident and direct neighbor of this area, I believe the proposed plan is inappropriate and constitutes poor planning for our historical neighborhood. My primary objections are as follows. Trying to fit 3 townhouses onto a small lot that requires variance is unacceptable. Build 2 if you must. There's no readable description of what these townhouses will be, in parentheses, height, style, square footage. The documents sent to us along with the website are unreadable, not enough information. There's no street parking, in parentheses, limited, on Brock Street. How will overflow parking be handled? Will the new structures affect existing sewer and water in the neighborhood? With added traffic, will the intersection of Brock and Carlton become a 4-way stop? What will the future plans be for the Part 2 lot, in parentheses, more townhouses? Being a historical neighborhood with larger lot sizes, the crammed townhouses may not fit the aesthetics of the area. Worried that the new builds will turn into rentals not controlled. And so that's the contents of the letter. For now, I'll pass it over to the members of the committee and to Eric, and then when we get to public comments, if there's a need to respond to those, we can do that.
Thank you, Sean. Kevin.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Sean, if you don't mind just naming the names of those residents for the public record, that would be helpful.
Oh, sure,
Thank you.
yes. So the resident's name is Brian Hildebrandt, and the address is 65 Carlton Street North.
Thank you. Who speaks on behalf of this application, please? If you could come forward, identify yourself for the record.
Good morning. My name is Eric Beauregard. I'm a planner at Upper Canada Consultants, and I'm representing the owners of 10 Brock Street.
Welcome, Mr. Beauregard. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, staff, Sean, for that very comprehensive overview of the proposal. I just got a brief presentation, and I'll try not to go over it any more than what Sean did. If I can have that put up. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the subject lands are generally rectangular parcel with approximately 40.23 meters of frontage along Brock Street and 25.43 meters of frontage along Carlton Street North, and a lot area of 1,102 square meters, so approximately 0.102 hectares. The lands are designated delineated built-up area in the Niagara official plan and urban living area in the city official plan. The lands are zoned residential 1 R1C zoning in the town zoning in the city zoning bylaw. The lands are an underutilized parcel consisting of a duplex dwelling located within an established neighborhood consisting of a variety of residential uses, which include apartment dwellings, street townhouse dwellings, semi-detached dwellings, and single detached dwellings. Next slide, please. The existing duplex dwelling is going to remain, but the proposal is to remove the garage as well as the existing deck that is at the rear of the dwelling. The staircase is proposed to be relocated to stay entirely within the remnant parcel. We are proposing to create one new lot for a street townhouse dwelling, which contains 3 dwelling units for rental purposes. In order to facilitate the severance, a minor variance application has been submitted concurrently, seeking zoning relief to permit a minimum lot area of 195 square meters from 255 square meters for an exterior unit, 160 square meters from 180 square meters for an interior unit, and to permit a minimum frontage of the end unit. Next, please. Thank you. We have reviewed staff's report and we agree with staff's recommendation, and I'm available to answer any questions that the committee or the public may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beauregard. Questions from the committee for Mr. Beauregard? Mr. Pizzo.
Or yourself, parking. It's probably the worst street in Thorold for parking. What are you doing about parking?
The site can accommodate parking on its own.
I didn't hear you.
The site can accommodate the required amount of parking, so each unit would have at least two spaces. Would have one. It would have one space, but there's also would be a garage likely.
So single garages?
We don't have an architectural design yet. This is very preliminary, but there would be garages.
Are you saying yes?
Yes.
Mr. DiPaolo.
Through you, Chair, just a couple of questions. The fact that there is no architectural drawing does kind of help, would help if there was one to really see. So I have a question in terms of the build, the footprint. Would the footprint of the property be the same? So the building, what I'm talking about is the building. Would it be the same whether it was a 3 units or 2 units?
Mr. Beauregard.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the building could potentially have that footprint, whether it be 2 or 3. But
Yeah, through you, Chair, there's a lot, like, it's important for me to help make an informed decision that I have more than just potential on what could be, because every application that comes before this committee, if everything's based on potentially, I don't know what to tell you. Potentially, we may be able to make a decision, I guess, then, is what I would say. So I just want to make sure that we are well informed to making a decision, and not having that sketch, I think is a lack of information that this committee deserves. I'd also like to say the engineering department, when you said earlier, Sean, 1 connection for 3, when it's like we're adding 5,500 square feet of living space here, and with 1 connection, that seems to kind of be tough on the infrastructure.
Yeah, so just to speak on that, I think you can think of it as the same way you would hook up something like an apartment building. Still on 1 lot. It just would require some work on the applicant's part to make sure the internal infrastructure is still the same as it would be.
Okay, that's good to know. And I want to, so that's good to know. The driveway accommodation is also, I think, a significant issue here, gentlemen. And putting 1 spot, when we're going to have 3 units, you're actually going to have at least minimum of 6 cars, because everybody's got to have a car today. So you're going to have 6 cars. I have no idea I think Brock Street there is long enough to have on-site parking for the additional cars potentially. I was there this morning when the school bus was coming through, and it was just to visit it at early morning again to see what it was like. And it's a tight street. It is a tight street. So I like the idea of separating the lot. I think the intensification, and Eric, I would love for you to, maybe through you, Chair, if Eric could decide, the intensification appears, like, the building appears to be too intense, if I can put it that way, for the area.
Mr. Dunn.
Sorry, I just thought I'd chime in here to clear up a couple of things. I think they're really valid concerns. First thing is should the applicant at a later stage not comply to things like parking or other zoning provisions, they'd have to come back to this committee. So what they're telling us today is that in every other instance, they're going to comply to what's required. So you don't need to be concerned about meeting the parking rate or other things like that, because they're saying that they're going to comply. If they don't, when it comes time for that detailed architectural design, they'll come back to you for approval. So rest assured in that. The other piece that I want to make clear is this is a permitted use on the lot. A townhouse dwelling of no more than 3 units is permitted under the zoning. So is a duplex, so is a single, right? So they are going to stick within the building envelope that they've said, or they have to come back, right? So this could end up being a duplex dwelling at the end of the day.
Okay.
They're proposing it right now as per the drawings in the report. I know it's a little small, but they did provide, it's the applicant sort of said that they didn't provide architectural drawings. They did provide a drawing that is detailed that shows 3 garages inside, 3 spaces on the proposed driveway, and they showed a concept of what their application is likely to be. But at the end of the day, what we're talking about today is just, do they fit within the zoning provisions of the building envelope? And then it'll be further refined later. I hope that clears up some things.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you very much. Through you, Chair Kevin, thank you very much for that. It does. What I would say is, when I thought about the four provisions, and when we look at a variance, we look at those 4 provisions. I go back to the one that, to me, on the variance on the subject and the surrounding properties. Is this variance desirable? I think, we can say, okay, but is it desirable for the neighborhood there? And to put 3 units there, that is my question, whether the 3 units are desirable for the neighborhood. And I'm not convinced, based on the information that here is in front of me today, that I can support 3 additional units jammed into that. And that's why I wanted to know whether the building envelope would be the same, whether it's a duplex, a semi, because there are semis in that area that look very, very nice. But if I was to, I stood there and I walked the lot, and if I was to have 3 units in here, all this other parking, I'm not convinced at this point, based on the information that we have, that it is a desirable for the neighborhood. And so that does not meet the minor variance test from my point of view. And I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Nunn, you just to be clear, you said the 3 units are allowed under the current
For you,
provisions?
Mr. Chair, and this is the applicant's application, so I'll let Eric speak
No,
to
I'm
it.
going to Mr. Beauregard in a minute. I just want to make
However,
sure I
it
heard you
is
correctly.
council approved, permitted, 3 units are permitted on this zone type. That is in the zoning bylaw.
Again, only permitted if there was no minor variance required.
The principle of the use is permitted.
The use is permitted, I agree. I just go back to the test of the minor variance. That's of the one of the procedures things. I think there's certainly an extra lot there available I'm all for that, but the design and the intensification, if Eric wants to speak on that more, to convince me otherwise, I'm just not sure that for the neighborhood and the community as a whole, a 3 townhouses there, with that intensification, that degree of more people, more cars, more everything is desirable for the neighborhood, and I'm not sure it can pass that part of the test.
Mr. Beauregard and then Mr. Pizzo.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, thank you for the question. In regards to that part of the test, those lands are in the built-up area. This is where this type of intensification is directed, and these uses aren't just, they exist in close vicinity. There's street townhouses just slightly north on Ormond Street. There's a lot of variety of residential uses that are more intense, not more intense than the proposal, but similar to the proposal. There's semi-detached, there's, like I said, street townhouse, there's apartment dwellings. The neighborhood has quite a variety of residential uses in there, so it would fit. In terms of appropriate, you look at mass and scaling to really look at that, and we fit within a lot of the required setbacks. And as staff mentioned regarding the rear yard setbacks, the interior side yard setbacks, we meet the parking. And this would have to comply with the building height of the zoning. Otherwise, we'd have to come back for a minor variance, which is possible, but it would have to come back, and that would be known at time of the actual architectural design. So, in all fairness, I do believe that it is appropriate for those reasons.
Mr. Pizzo and then Mr. Jackson.
About parking. Have you been on that street?
Yes, I have. I went on the site.
That
and
is the worst street in Thorold. Brock Street, is there parking on Brock Street? One side?
One side.
One side. We should be concerned, that's what we're here for. Secondly is, will these be one unit, or they have to be severed at one time, sometime down the road?
Mr. Beauregard?
The intention is for them to be one lot and not severed at this time. It's for rental purposes, but in the future, there is potential, but in which case, if we were to do that, we'd have to come back to the committee to get those approvals.
I know you would have to come back, but that's an easy way of getting a okay. Come and ask for, well, we're not gonna sever them, but we're gonna sever them down the road. But the parking is horrible there.
And if I may, on the parking, we do meet the parking requirements, and actually, we do provide 2 parking spaces. They will be in tandem, but we do provide 2 parking spaces per unit.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, through the chair, I don't think I totally understood Kevin's reply. Is this like written in stone that it's going to be 3 units, or could it possibly turn into a duplex?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So there's 2 things happening, right? We're severing the lot into 2 pieces.
Right?
And as a part of that analysis, we're trying to make sure that it meets the minimum lot and size requirements. And we're saying that staff are in agreement that the land should be severed. So that's one piece. The other thing that we're doing today is we're taking their concept and we're reviewing it against the zoning provisions to see if that concept would meet those requirements. And it does for rear yard, side yard, parking, etc. This concept that they're proposing. Now we know what's permitted on this new parcel is going to be singles, duplexes, and also street townhouses up to 3. That's just permitted on this new law that we're creating,
yeah.
right? So in this concept that they're showing us, they have 2 minor adjustments to the zoning bylaw. So that's the other thing that we're trying to approve today. But they could come forward after, let's say they get an approval, and it could end up being built that there's something else that complies to the zoning bylaw completely and entirely. So we're just sort of evaluating this one concept that they have right now, which is likely to be what they're going to move forward with. And I know that earlier it was said that this is sort of a wonky application. I think that's a little bit of a misnomer because it's completely normal on a lot to build one dwelling that just happens to have 3 units. Similar to an apartment, if you want to think about it like that in your head. It's one building, there's 3 units within it. Right, so I hope that answers some of your questions.
Yeah, it does, Kevin, but on the other hand, I will have to agree with both Eddie and Peter. Parking, number 1, and the 3 units, what impact that's going to have on the infrastructure.
So understood. Can I answer those 2 questions? Do you mind? Or do you mind if I answer those 2 questions for you, provide some clarity?
Go ahead.
Can I speak to the parking?
Oh, yes.
And so they are proposing to comply to the parking the way that the council has approved our zoning.
Okay.
They're proposing to comply. If they end up not complying, they have to come back to you to make that decision for another variance.
I see.
That's
Okay.
number 1. Servicing, essentially, we've worked with engineering to clear servicing. So they're happy because they're going to get one connection to this dwelling that internally will service all 3 units, and there's no servicing concern from engineering's perspective.
I see.
Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Thanks. Thanks, Kevin.
Mr. Baranek?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just noticed that Mr. Daniels said that there was no link in the email. I think he's trying to get in, but I see an email that he sent to David. Said he can't find the link for the meeting.
I'm unable to do anything about that at the current time.
Perhaps the deputy clerk could send him a link.
And then my question,
Yeah.
through you, Mr. Chair, is about the single connection to that property. In the future, if they decide to sever off, 1, 2, or 3 of the units, how will that work with respect to the sewer connection?
I think we dealt with that last meeting when they tried to sever off one connection to that house up in Port Robinson or wherever it was.
Yeah. But this
They
one
have
has
to-
the
they have-
potential for three.
They'll have to separate it. Mr. Beauregard, did you want to speak to that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the committee member, that's correct. We would have to make sure that each unit is individually serviced, and that would also work internally as well. You can't rely on, unless there is an easement of some sort, but typically they have to be serviced individually. But I'll leave it to Kevin.
Mr. Nunn?
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we also can't guarantee that staff would support that application, and we've worked with this applicant to try to discourage that. And if that was their intent, that they should apply for that from the first place. So we need further discussion in order to get to that place. I throw that out there. Also, I see the owner has their hand up. I'm not sure if we want to give them an opportunity to speak.
Are they online, are they? I can't see that. Mr. Beauregard, are you going to allow the owner to speak?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, committee. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you for your time and everything today, guys. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to make one point as a reference for the consistency with these types of applications. Within the same block of this property on Ormond Street, there are 2 3-unit townhouses that currently exist now on Ormond Street. So the consistency with what we're proposing would be similar to that without the intensity that those lots have. If you look at on Google Maps now, you can see those units exist. I'm not sure when they were approved or when they went in, but they are within the same block of property here. Eric had already mentioned there's a few townhouse is within the corridor as well. There was a recent development opposite, I think it's St. David's Road East, right opposite the Early Bird Restaurant that recently went in. So there's consistency within this block of property that we are trying to continue with. I just wanted to make that point, so thank you for allowing me some time.
We appreciate your taking the time, but could you identify yourself for the record, please?
Sorry, my name is Mike Wilson. I'm one of the 2 owners of the property of 10 Brock Street.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. DiPaolo.
I through you, Chair, I'd just like to kind of go back to this I'm thinking about what Kevin said. If this was one large building with 3 units inside, how would you, it's an interesting thing, but the parking would be totally different. Then I'm assuming it has a different parking requirement if it's one building with 3 units inside as opposed to townhouses? Or am I wrong on that?
Mr. Nunn.
Through you, Mr. Chair. I don't mean to step on Sean's toes, but did you want to take a stab at answering the question?
Yeah, whoever.
About parking requirements?
Sure, I can. So just for absolute clarity on this, so the zoning bylaw requirement for parking spaces in the R1C zone is 1 parking space per street townhouse unit, and the applicant is proposing to provide 2 parking spaces. So just for absolute clarity, they're actually doubling up on what the zoning bylaw requires. In terms of what the other building form requirements would be, I don't have the zoning bylaw on hand, obviously, but typically for a sort of more minor but still intense proposal like that, you'd end up with something between 1 parking space to 1.5 parking spaces per dwelling unit.
I just thought it was important, because if we're going to use that as an analogy for what we're doing here, I just thought it was important to understand how the parking would work in that particular case. I guess I'm going to go back to this fact. Like, in principle, and I speak for myself, not the entire committee, but I like the idea of the severance for the property. That in principle, I like that, and I think we're halfway there. But when I think about, when I go, and I appreciate the owner's comments that there's other ones that are, I'm going to tell you, I drove around there, nothing stood out to me. It is stark. I would describe it as a stark reality. When I sat there and looked at the lot and I said, I'm going to put 3 townhouses in here, and if I was a neighbor, and if I lived on this street, and I'm in the Committee of Adjustments is entertaining the application that's in forward to me, I'm going to go back to, and I know it's not mathematical, and I know that they meet a lot of the other setbacks and things like that, and that's what I'm saying. There's a deal here somewhere, but is it really desirable for the neighborhood? And I'm going to go back to that point. Is it desirable, and are 3 towns, just because they're appropriate somewhere else, That doesn't mean that they're appropriate on Brock Street necessarily either. So is it appropriate and is it desirable to do that? Like, I can honestly see a semi there, and I'm not trying to say, but I'm saying that I'm concerned. If there was a sketch, an architectural sketch where I could see the property, maybe I would feel better about it. So I'm gonna go back to that point number 2, and if that test, and if not all the 4 tests can be met, then I suggest the application cannot be approved, in my opinion, as a member of the Committee of Adjustments. I wish that I wish I had something better to see. I see the little lot lines there, guys, but that doesn't tell me what the shape of the building looks like. It doesn't give me more. If I had a little bit more than a 1 degree view on something, I would be in a better position to feel better about this. So I said it already. I don't think the desirability is there, and I would call upon the neighbor to speak to his letter that he also wrote this morning at some point. So
Yeah, he'll be given that opportunity. Mr. Nunn.
Sorry, I'm hoping through you, Mr. Chair, that the clerk could bring up the report and go to the figure 3 on page 6 and zoom in. I think that might be helpful for you, Mr. DePaula. But while that's taking place, this is your decision as a committee, right? You have the ability to say yes or no to this. What you have in front of you is a proposal that meets the official plan, the intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw amendment. We do believe, planning staff do believe, in our professional opinion, that this is good planning and does meet the 4 tests. And it's interesting because I have an affordable housing report going to council in July, hopefully, if all things go through. And this is the exact, in terms of desirability, like, to speak candidly, this is the exact type of housing that we're missing and that we need from an affordability and housing perspective. We need to support all types of housing across the continuum to ensure that there's places for people to live across the city and that this is a place people want to be and can afford to be. So I'm not suggesting that these are capital A affordable housing units, but what I am suggesting is that this is the perfect type of infill development that hasn't historically taken place and an opportunity to address part of that. So in terms of desirability, this is what you want. Now, in terms of the site-specific nuance and layout and details of the plan, it's figure 3.
Keep going.
Number 6. Let's get into that, because I think that those are important considerations. And the last thing I'll say is that there is an opportunity here to defer this application to the next meeting instead of refusing it, so that you can throw it back to staff to take a better look at items. But like I said, we believe that this should be approved. Can you just zoom in a little bit more to the 3 buildings on the left? Just all the way, just keep going. So part of the reason why we're seeking variances in this instance is because of it's a unique site, and you can apply the perfect zoning bylaw to any lot and it still may not be a perfect zoning bylaw, right? Like, zoning bylaws sometimes need to be amended to make site-specific designs work, and that's why you're here. So when we look at this 3-dwelling unit on the left, can you scroll down a little bit? So the applicant's proposing to exceed the rear yard setback, meet the side yard setbacks on the building. You can see the envelope grayed out there. They're providing double the amount of required parking. This is sort of what you're getting. And some of the conditions that staff have recommended to impose on this approval is demolition of the existing garage, as Sean noted. There's some other components like staircases and items on the existing dwelling that are also being proposed to be demolished and reworked to make sort of room for this. As was noted, it meets the height requirements. So when you kind of picture a building envelope and what this will look like, it meets the criteria. I don't know if you have any specific questions while we have this up on the screen.
Yeah, through
Mr.
you,
DePaula.
Chair, I do have some questions, and I appreciate this. I've been here at this committee for a number of years, and but what I find is when we have more information, that would help us get to the yes. And I'm in complete agreement with everything you're saying in terms of this is the type of projects we need. I do that, but I also think we need to be mindful of the impact that's there. So comparing this to even Ormond Street, which is much more of a mixed street for sure, is a little bit different. But I wish I had what it looked like. I do. Like, it would help me. I think about it in a different way. I go to Brock Street, you know that parking is going to be an issue, and we can write that in I mean, I'm glad that this is recorded, because if this gets approved and if built, we're gonna go back to Brock Street and we're gonna find that there's an issue in parking. Because there's gonna be 3 tenants in each of these things, they're gonna have 9 vehicles, like, that's just what happens. And maybe they won't, maybe I'll be wrong, and I'm okay if I'm wrong. But what I would say is I don't get a good representation. I think there's more work to be done, and your deferral might be something. Like, I can't read what those parameters are from the fence line to how much that is. I know it seems to make sense in the table 6.3 that you put in, and it looks like it's there, but it would be helpful to see how far is this exactly and what is it. It would be helpful to have a sketch of what is actually going in there. At least for me, it would be. I'm not saying that this is, like I say, I think we have something here. I think the applicants have to do, and like, I just think it would help the Committee of Adjustment to make a proper, the more information we have, the better decision we can make. And I think there's some more information that we should have before we could do this. So I'm okay with the deferral, and we can make that motion later, but I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to talk on it.
Mr. Jackson.
To the chair, I'm going to agree with Peter 100%. There seems to be a lot of stuff that could be changed or added to this sketch in terms of setback and a few other situations. So are we looking at a deferral here, or?
Not yet.
Okay. All right, that's.
Thank you. Mr. Pizzo, I'll go back. Mr. Pizzo?
Well, this is in concrete, so I didn't appreciate your statement. And why would you want to have a referral? Why did you bring that up?
Go ahead, Mr. Nunn.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm just trying to provide you the options that you have.
What's lacking that you want to bring it?
Well, and this is what I sort of want to say is we could get a plan with more detail, and they may not build that more detailed plan. So to me, I'm not really understanding Mr. DePaula's point about why he wants more detail when this proposal and the chart and let me be honest, this should be bigger so that you could see, right? Let's be honest about that. But I believe that, we're talking about envelope, and they are meeting the side yard setbacks, the rear yard setbacks, like those things won't change. So they could get you something with more detail, and that may not end up being what they do. So I just want to make sure we understand what it is that we're asking of staff to take back to review, if that's a route that we go, Mr. Pizzo.
Mr. Beauregard.
Through you, Mr. Chair, and if that is a route that the committee is going, I'm wondering if maybe we can separate the variances from maybe the consent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mr. Pizzo.
Chairman, I make my motion that we refer this for the next meeting and get it back here and put it on the floor.
Both applications?
Both.
Further questions, comments on the deferral motion?
Got a second?
Mr. Jackson? All in favor of the deferral motion for both applications? Opposed? It's passed. Is Mr. Daniels with us? Okay, thank you. So that will be deferred to the July meeting. And the people that are here from the public, hopefully you can come back in July. There's no more conversation after a deferral motion. Thank you. Well, it's a deferral motion. Who are you?
Sorry, I'm one of the residents of Carl.
You'll have to come back, sir. I'm sorry. There was a deferral motion made. That would be great. If Mr. Nunn would take that, that'd be very helpful, I'm sure. Thank you, sir.
We can scan it, send it out.
Hmm?
Scan it, send it out to everybody.
Yeah, great, great.
I wish he did that at the beginning.
Yeah, me too.
But how would he do that?
All right.
Pass it off to Nancy.
Nancy. Here comes Nancy. Nancy, once you're ready, if you could start with D1304, 2026, 1892 Turner Road. Mr. Pizzo.
He's handing out stuff.
I don't care. Give it to Mr. Nunn. It was a bad decision.
I'm good. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Application D1304 2026 seeks relief from the City of Thorold zoning bylaw to permit a residential. My apologies. I'm filling Courtney's shoes today, and those are big shoes to fill, so I might be a bit nervous. To permit, for clarity, a residential accessory structure with a maximum height of 5.6 meters, whereas 4.5 meters is currently permitted. Therefore, variance of 1.1 meter in regard to height is requested. The proposed structure would be approximately 319.6 square meters in area and would be used entirely for household storage associated with the existing residential use on the property. The lands are approximately 3.8 hectares in size and are located on Turner Road within an agricultural zone. Through discussions with planning staff, the applicant revised the original proposal, reducing the size of the structure and eliminating the need for additional variances. As proposed, the building complies with all other zoning requirements, including setbacks, lot coverage, separation distances from the dwelling and lot lines. Planning staff are satisfied that the application meets the 4 tests under Section 45(1) of the Planning Act. First, the variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. The existing residential use is already permitted. The accessory structure remains subordinate to that use, and the proposal does not extend into any wetland or the natural heritage features on the property. Additional environmental review will happen as requested through comments from the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority permitting process prior to construction. Second, the variance maintains the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. The proposed accessory structure is permitted in the agricultural zone, and the proposal complies with all other zoning provisions. The only relief requested is the modest 1.1 meter increase in height. Third, the variance is desirable and appropriate for the development of the land. The structure would provide storage for personal vehicles and residential and land equipment. It's compatible with the rural agricultural character of the area as well. Finally, the variance is minor. Again, the requested relief is limited to 1.1 meters. The property is quite large, 3.8 hectares in size, and the proposed structure is located well away from adjacent properties, and there are really no adverse or privacy or site issues that are of concern. Based on all of what I've just presented, planning staff are satisfied that the proposal meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act, and we do recommend approval, subject to the conditions from the region, which includes a tree preservation plan once construction occurs, as well as a Niagara Peninsula, a Niagara Escarpment plan, Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority permit process, which would address an environmental impact study as well. Thank you, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Nancy. Who speaks on behalf of this application, please? You can come forward, identify yourself.
I'm the agent on the property for the
Welcome,
owners
Darren.
at 1892 Turner Road.
Go ahead.
I just want to clarify the conditions that you mentioned, because in the report, I believe the conditions were different, or did that change?
Nancy?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the NPCA has required a permit to be completed.
Yeah.
Niagara Region did follow up with us and request the tree preservation plan to be completed upon at construction. I'll ask Mark to clarify if I've made an error there.
Mr. Davidson?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, there, condition 2 is for an archaeological assessment. That was also requested by the region, so that is the additional piece. So I think a lot of the tree and the ecological information can be addressed through the NPCA permit, but the region has requested an archaeological assessment, so that was included as condition 2.
Okay, so just to confirm, there is no tree preservation plan requested. It was just a recommendation, not an actual condition, correct?
Mr. Davidson?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that's correct. As it goes through the NPCA process, they will review the ecological impacts, and that would include tree preservation. So they would look at all of that.
Okay, yeah, so that clears that up. So we appreciate the positive recommendation from planning staff and their review. And then I would just like to look at 2 points. So first, the tree plan, I know that it has to go through the NPCA, but just for ease of mind for the committee as well, there is no tree removal being proposed. We are within 30 feet of the forest there, so we are well enough aware. There's no like significant vegetation there that's being altered or changed within this proposal. And again, as Mark mentioned, it will go through an NPCA permit. Second, regarding the recommendation of a stage 1 and 2 archaeological assessment, we would request that the committee consider modifying this condition, not removing it, but modifying it. The existing, just a little bit of history on the property. In 2018, the existing single-family dwelling burnt down. So there was demolition crews on the property. There was disruption to the entire site. And then in 2019, the single-family dwelling was built. Again, creating disruption to the site. There would be grading changes. There'd be a septic bed. There'd be a lot of dirt that moved around within the site, showing that this area that we're proposing to build would already have been disrupted through that. There is currently a driveway, an existing driveway that has been used for vehicle access. There's equipment storage in that area. And as a result, this area that we're proposing the building has been disturbed prior to us building this building. Then the other thing I wanted to mention as well, the building that we're proposing is going to be a pole barn style building. So you're not digging a full trench foundation, you're building poles every 8 feet with a 24-inch to 32-inch puck. So you're not disturbing that land as much as a full foundation would disturb it or disrupt it. So yeah, given this information, we request that the condition be revised where the construction would cease immediately should any resources be encountered during the excavation, and the appropriate authorities would be notified for the review of that if there's anything found. So we believe this approach still protects any potential while recognizing it was previously disturbed development area, and which was also mentioned within the planning report. Thank you for your time, and I'm here for any questions that you guys may have.
Would staff like to address the amendment to the, I don't know who to look at. Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, the condition for an archaeological assessment is a little bit tricky. It is provided by the region. If we were going to modify the condition, I mean, there's an ethical requirement for someone who is doing excavation that if they do strike something that they have to stop and notify. So that's an ethical requirement. What I might suggest doing is maybe modifying the condition to say an archaeological assessment or clearance from the Niagara region that they wouldn't require an archaeological assessment. Then they can have the discussion about the site being disturbed and the intent of the region's, then the region can make the ultimate call on it, but I just don't feel comfortable kind of taking it out at this point.
How do you feel about that, sir?
So just to clarify, if we didn't go for the minor variance, if we didn't go for the extended height, like the 1.1 meters, no archaeological assessment would be required. And I understand because we went for the minor variance, now they require it, or it's something that they will require because a minor variance will like catch your attention, and now it has to go through that review, right? So if we just put it at the 4.5 meters, no assessment would need to be done. But since we're extending it, we're going for the minor variance, now we need to do an assessment. We understand the reason behind the assessments, we understand the heritage and everything, but just giving the site through a minor variance, it is site by site and it's considered by the committee. It has been disrupted, and we're not doing a full foundation like I mentioned. So if the committee would consider that in their decision.
Deliberations.
Yeah.
Going back to Mr. Davidson's suggestion, would you be okay with that amendment to the conditions?
If you read through the report, it like the region is proposing this as a condition, so they're gonna propose it as a condition. Like that's what it reads in the report, unless I'm wrong. So either way, the region is gonna propose it, and if we go back to the region, they're still going to ask for this. And not to bring up other committees, but I've gone to other committees where this has been a condition. Again, it is like an integrity thing, or like a government law, where if you're digging up and you do find an artifact, you stop digging. That's a respect thing. So that's always going to be there, no matter what. So going back to the region, they're still going to say the same thing. So I think it's up to the committee to address that at this point.
Thank you. Mr. Revenek.
Yeah, just a question, maybe Mr. Davidson could answer this through you, Mr. Chair. Is there a statutory requirement for the Stage 2 archaeological assessment that the region's hanging its hat on?
Through Mr. Chair, there is there's a layer in the official plan that denotes areas where that there could be archaeological significance. That was established by the region, and so as a result, they are kind of the purveyors and the protectors of that layer. I hear loud and clear what the speaker has said. You know, this is mostly a slab on grade structure with some footings. In my purview, I think we have the comment of the region, and they're not here to say otherwise. So I think we can give it a little bit of flexibility to say if discussions with the region yields that archaeological assessment isn't required, because there has been disturbed soils out there, and I don't know whether or not the region has been out there to kind of visualize all of it. So it's difficult for us to speak on behalf of the region, and as a result, I think if we give it some flexibility, that's probably the best I could suggest at this point.
So when you say flexibility, do we hang our hat then on the ethical requirement that if they come across a artifact, they would stop?
Through Mr. Chair, they're already obligated to do that.
Yeah.
So I guess the flexibility would be if they have a conversation with the region and they say, we're just putting in some footings and it is already disturbed, the region might say, okay, there's no requirement for it. But again, they're not here to kind of answer those questions today. So I think if we build that in, it gives the applicant a little bit of flexibility to hopefully work together with the region to hopefully get rid of the requirement for it. I just don't think we're in a position to waive that requirement at this point.
Mr. DiPaolo.
Go ahead.
And then Mr. Pizzo.
Okay, thank you. The concept drawing that is included in through you, Chair, sorry, the concept drawing that is included in the package, is that what it's going to look like?
So I was on the site this morning. The concept drawing that was sent does show a foundation. But when I talked to the owner, so I was talking to him about the archaeological assessment, when I spoke with him, he said, no, it's going to be a pole barn. I called Ontario Building this morning, and they did confirm it will be a pole barn. So if we can put that in there, that if it's not a pole barn, the assessment should be done. But if it is a pole barn, yeah, maybe we can put that condition or approval in there.
I think what the planning department has proposed is reasonable in terms of that flexibility, and I would be supportive of that in the overall application.
Mr. Pizzo. We're going to need the microphone, sir.
Is it written in stone from the region, or you think there could be some flexibility?
I think
they don't do it in every lot. They don't do it in their. How did they choose his?
Yeah. Through you, Mr. Chair, the region does have the flexibility built in. We've seen that condition waived in the past. I also hear loud and clear that this is a variance for height. It's not related. So if it was just going through a building permit process, we would just be tied to ethical kind of obligations of the excavator at that point as well. So I hear loud and clear what the applicant is saying. At the end of the day, I just don't think it's ours to change I think we can modify the condition to give the region the flexibility to not allow us to do the archaeological assessment, but I don't feel that it's our position to remove the requirement at this time, if that makes sense. So I think we can still have the obligation to require the archaeological assessment, but also give them the flexibility that if they have discussions, maybe an on-site visit or something like that, to see the disturbance that's already taken place, that they could waive that condition. So I think I think that's the best I can offer at this point with the condition that's been attached. So that would be my recommendation at this time.
Anybody else? Madam Deputy Clerk, are you clear on that amendment?
I think I am, but I will have Kevin check it over for me. I'll just draft, there's no motion on the floor yet,
Nope.
but I'll just draft that in a moment.
Okay, we'd like to hear it before we vote on it.
you, Chair, what's in italics at the end of paragraph 2 at the bottom is the revision.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I would like to see it include in discussion with, unless the Region of Niagara in consultation with the applicant is satisfied that an archaeologist, I just think that they need to be part of this. What do you think? Mr. Davidson, wordsmither.
Through Mr. Chair, I'm fine with that, Ed. I think that's the intent, for sure.
That's the intent, but I'd like to see it in sort of in writing. And I'm going to come to you. I see your hand. Keep going. And to be clear, we don't have a motion on the floor. Yeah, in a minute. Yep. Don't worry. You're tall, I can see you. Yeah. Yeah. Can you read it? Mr. Davidson, don't you dare change that.
Through Mr. Chair, not changing. Just wanted to say the city would also be happy to facilitate those discussions, just so that the applicant doesn't feel like they're out on their own on that.
That's a good suggestion.
So we would be happy. I don't think it needs to be included. I think it's just something that we would do.
You just want him to know.
Yes.
Lovely. Sir, something new?
Yeah, I appreciate that. The one thing I did want to note in the report, underneath archaeological potential, it says the proposed involves development and site alteration in area, the property that has not been subject to ground disturbance. Again, as mentioned, it has had ground disturbance, and it says that was in the planning report as well. And I just want to, I'm under the understanding that the committee can waive that condition of the archaeological assessment as well, if that's...
No, that's the whole point of this discussion. We're not comfortable waiving it.
Okay, the committee is as well, or the planning staff is.
Planning staff, Mr. Davidson has spoken to it that he's not comfortable waiving without consultation. They're not here.
Yeah, okay.
And don't forget, the planning report is just a recommendation. We don't have to listen to these people.
Yeah.
But they put forward their best recommendation based on their
their
140 years of experience over there.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah. Mr. DiPaolo.
I'd like to make a motion that the application I believe it's D1304-2026, with the amendment that we just read and saw, be approved based on the review of the pertinent information and the comments presented at the hearing.
Do we have a seconder for that? Mr. Ravenek. Further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? There you go.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Any other business, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we need to hear if there's anybody have anything. Nothing? There's twitching. I thought maybe you had something to say. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.